Whatever competes with God would be that idol. Whatever competes with God would be that idol. And that's something that we need to understand. So today's golden calves, what do they look like and what are they? And I think the first one is the God of materialism. The God of materialism, the God of stuff. We live our lives to fill living rooms, right? Sometimes that can be the way. We live our lives to fill living rooms, family rooms. We want to make sure that we can add a third spot in our garage for our third car, whatever it may be. We like stuff. And that so quickly can turn into why we live our lives. We just need nicer things. There's nothing wrong with this, but this is nicer, so I want it. I'm pursuing this. We can live that life of materialism. The second thing is the God of winning or success. I mean, I think this is a culture where we've created a statement. Second place is the first loser. We like to win. I don't know if I should even go there. But we like to win. Wherever Purdue plays next, let's hope they actually get off the bus. So anyway, we'll move on. But we like to win, right? That excites us. That gets us thrilled. We like to succeed, right? And we like to succeed in such a way that we become workaholics. We become people who just work and work and work. We want to get at the very top of that ladder. We want success. In a lot of ways, sometimes it can even consume us in a way that we get obsessed with those who are successful. If it's a boss, if it's a coworker, if it's a friend, or if it's a family relative, or if it's someone who's sitting here in the congregation today, we become a way that we just are infatuated with those who are successful. And we want to model our lives after them. We want to do what they have done to get where they are. And that becomes a golden calf. That becomes an idol. And we have to be very careful in this. And I don't think anyone is safe from this. I think in the church today, that can be something that drives churches more than God. We want to be successful. We want to be the best. We want to be big. I can name you 5 pastors really quick that are awesome, that I would love to be like, But I got to be careful. I got to be really careful. But we all do. We all have that. Whatever our profession may be, we have to be careful that we're not trying to be anything that is but glorifying God. The third thing is the God of me. Focusing on self. Focusing on what makes me better. What makes me good, And that can be really interesting, that we dress ourselves up with things, that we do things that are just predominantly about ourselves and we don't care about anyone else. And so all of a sudden, that golden calf is not that person or that thing or that career, but in fact it's you. That you care so much about yourself that you become your own idol. And we can look at that and we can say, man, what a lonely life that may be. But in a lot of ways, there are a lot of people today who all they care about is self. They all care about is self. The last one, number 4, today's golden calves, and I think this is the hardest one, is the God of relationships. The God of relationships. I love my family. I love my son, even though he may be undressing up front. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But I love my family. I love spending time with my wife. I love spending time with my kids. I love spending time with my parents. I just love it. I love that. And there's some of you who love spending time with your spouses, love spending time with your boyfriend and girlfriend, your fiance. You love those things. You want that to be always together. And that is a good thing. But does it replace God? And that's a scary thing. Because that's something that means a lot. Now that we're talking about idols, we'll talk about Albert Pujols. Just happens to be the best baseball player, which just happens to be playing for the St. Louis Cardinals. Albert Pujols always says this. He always says this. He says, I love my family, but they are a distant second to God. That's hard to hear, right? I mean, it's not just second. but a distant second. Wow, that's hard. I mean, is God in our lives supposed to be that high up there? I think yes. And so often we can, instead of up on that pedestal, we can put our beautiful wife or our romantic husband or our boyfriend or our girlfriend up there, and they have no business to be up there. And that can be bad in relationships as well, because then you find out that they may have a flaw, and that can make everything spin out of control. So the God of relationships can be today's golden calf. Now, looking at all these things, it got me thinking, because I'm like, you know what? I don't think God wants us to just live on a beach the rest of our lives and not have anything to our name. And I think God wants us to be successful in what we do and at least do our best, and so that we can do that well. I think God loves me. There's no question that God loves you, loves me. And there's no question that God wants us to have healthy relationships and healthy families. And it got me thinking, when those Israelites were putting those gold earrings into the pot to make this golden calf, those gold earrings meant something. I mean, these are people who fled Egypt, right? They didn't just okay, let's rent the U-Haul for a week and then we'll put stuff in as we go. They fled. So they took very little. Not that they had a lot, but they took very little with them. Those earrings meant something. They were a blessing from God. They were either family heirlooms or whatever. They were a blessing. Then all of a sudden they threw that in. These are all blessings from God. The ability to live in a home, the ability to have a job and do it well, the ability to be healthy, to have a good life, the ability to have relationships, friends, and family around you. Those are all blessings. But so quickly, they could turn into idols. So quickly, that marriage could turn into an idol. So quickly, that job could turn into an idol. So quickly, that stuff could become an idol. So quickly, you start throwing it into a pot and start sculpting your own golden calf. And so we need to be careful. We need to be really careful in this. And what I always say is, let's bring God into this stuff, Let's bring God in. Let's make God the center of our relationships, right? Let's make God the center of my life. Let's make God the center of my occupation. Let's make God the center of how I spend my money and how I spend my time. Let's bring God into that. Let's make that happen. So what are these antidotes? What are the antidotes to the golden calves today? I think the first one is don't allow the altar to be built. That's the first step. They build a golden calf and then Aaron builds the altar. Don't build the altar. Don't build that altar around a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a son, a daughter, a friend. Don't build the altar. Don't start idolizing them. Don't start turning them into something that they clearly are not. Don't turn them into an altar. Don't build that idol. The second thing is, do whatever it takes to replace that idol with God. Some of us find ourselves in situations right now where indeed, yes, we do have idols. That we do have struggles. That we have created our own golden calves. We got to figure out how to replace that with God. How to replace this situation with God. This relationship. How do we spend most of our day? We are busy people. Are we so busy that we forget to do things for God? Are we so busy that we don't spend time in a study? Don't spend time in church? Don't spend time reading the Bible? What is it? And we need to replace that with God. Insert God here, right? All right, so that's what we need to do. The third thing is forgiveness and cleansing. Some of us have just, all we can do is throw up our hands and say, yeah, I've completely ignored you, God. I've completely ignored you, and I have let my career, I have let my family, I have let me, I have let stuff get in the way of my relationship with you. And all you need is forgiveness and cleansing. All you need is for it to be made right again. That's all you can ask.